Question number 52 is a little picture detail kind of a question, and so it says the questions in lines 74 to 78 are right here, and what do they primarily do? And I got tripped up on this one until I read the word primarily. I had to reread the question again, primarily, because actually B and D are really close to each other. It's hard to eliminate D. Let me go with A first. A you can eliminate because it's not talking about the reliability of the methods. No, she has great methods and conclusions. Answer choice B I could immediately eliminate because it does seem to emphasize and elaborate. My prediction was these questions are to show the confusion. Like we were expecting one thing and we found something else. It was initially puzzling, initially confusing, the result. So, and the questions help elaborate that. They help emphasize the fact that, wait a minute, we've got some big deal confusion going on. C is we're not trying to undermine the earlier studies, because the previous study about taxi cab drivers still remains valid and is not undermined by what's going on here. It's a different phenomenon. It's not the same phenomenon. It's a different one. And then wrong reason. It's not here to introduce and explain. There is a connection between McGuire's two studies and her earlier work, and they actually will go ahead and explain that connection later on, but that's not why these questions are written. Yes, there's the connection, and yes, later on we'll start explaining the connection, and the connection even does need to get introduced at some point, but that's not why the questions are written. The author put these questions in here primarily not to introduce the connection, but to primarily show that this result is puzzling, and to emphasize the fact that this result is puzzling, and to elaborate on the fact that this initial result is puzzling. So that's why B is the answer.